Why don't we head over to the phones, and we'll find State Comptroller Leslie Munger on the line. Leslie, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
Hey, thanks for taking time out of your day for us. How's things going?
Oh, it's been a whirlwind of just about a month since I was sworn in. So I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm digging into the various things in the office. It's been great.
Well, it's the first time that we've had the opportunity to talk on the show, so if you could, give the listeners a little background bio on yourself.
Well, I live in Lincolnshire, born and raised in Joliet, lifelong Illinoisan. I come to this job with 25 years of business experience, most recently as an executive at Helene Curtis, where I, over the years, was responsible for a number of brands like Suave, shampoo, and Degree Perspirant, eventually led the $800 million U.S. hair care business. So I have a lot of experience managing large budgets, solving challenging business problems, looking for cost savings, which I think is important in our state right now, and really getting things done.
By the way, I used both Suave and Degree before I left the house.
We have those in our house as well.
Oh, good. We have them in our home.
So well done. A little late on this one, but a high five on a job well done. It's certainly working in our house.
Thank you. Glad to hear that.
And Leslie, your husband is from Rockford, correct?
He is. He went to high school at Guilford High School. My mother-in-law still lives out in Rockford, so lots of high school friends and family still out in that area.
Leslie Munger with us, the new Illinois State Comptroller. It's Ronnie and Scott here on WROK. Before we get to some of your actual duties, I know it's not quite under your purview, but the governor made a big announcement yesterday on state workers and whether or not they'll have to pay the fair share fees. Do you have any thoughts on the governor's action yesterday?
I think that whole thing looks like it's headed to the courts, and they're going to be the ones to sort all that out. My focus has really been in this position on addressing the $7 billion of bill backlog that we currently have. I'm looking for ways to help get those addressed more quickly, and also ways to help our government operate more cost efficiently going forward. I think one part of our difficulty in our state is we have a very expensive cost of government. So that's really been my focus going forward.
Remember when speaking with your predecessor at one point, you're telling us that, one of the joys of the job, walking in and seeing that big pile of bills sitting there on the desk, I'm sure metaphorically, but the number there nonetheless, that's quite a shock to the system to start each day with, isn't it?
It is. It's mind-numbing to think $7 billion, and a lot of these bills go back to before Thanksgiving. So this is a problem now with the tax rollback, rolling back. We're adding to that deficit about $400 million every month. And let me just be clear, I supported the tax rollback. As a taxpayer, as an Illinoisan, I think legislation was passed as a temporary tax. Our government must start keeping promises to the taxpayers of our state, because ultimately we live here for jobs in Illinois, and we need to restore confidence and rebuild a predictable economic environment so we can attract businesses, retain our businesses, get our economy growing, and bring jobs back. So I think the rollback was a good plan, but as a comptroller, it's definitely creating more bills in the office these days and more difficulties in managing our payment stream. So,
Leslie Munger with us, Illinois State Comptroller. And Leslie, the problem is that lawmakers in Springfield, Democrats, pretended like it wasn't going to roll back. And the budget that passed was billions out of balance, and now those landmines are starting to pop up even more so, that the governor has to deal with. You deal with, though, every day. Who gets paid and who has to wait? Who performs services for the state? And Judy Bartopinka talked to us a number of times about that juggling act of figuring out who needs the money most immediately, who can wait a month. How have your interactions gone with people who rightfully think they should be paid as soon as possible? You're the one that has to tell them, or who has to tell them, wait a little bit, we'll get to you next month. That's just the position we're in right now.
Well, that is the position we're in. I am trying to really continue in the path that Judy started on really prioritizing payments. And one of my volunteer positions, actually I'm still an active volunteer on the board, on the Women's Board of the Riverside Foundation. I used to be on the board of directors. I actually have firsthand experience as and being part of an organization where the state was $1 million behind and about a year behind in paying bills to Riverside. And we were taking out loans in order to pay our bills and to buy food and to take care of critical services. So I understand personally the importance of making sure that we help those organizations that serve our citizens who are most vulnerable, seniors, children, developmentally disabled, others with special needs. So we are continuing to work to prioritize payments to those organizations because these are organizations that will shut their doors if we can't create some kind of payment stream. They're not getting everything they need, but we're trying to get them something. And we are working with other larger companies that we owe money to as a state to, again, get them some of the money we owe them on some kind of a predictable basis so that at least they can budget and plan. And that's right now the best we can do until we can get our spending more lined up with our revenues.
Leslie, got to figure, given the constraints with which you have to work and that big pile of bills that we talked about and the different people calling going, hey, where's my money? Obviously, this is a huge challenge, but one you wouldn't have taken on if you didn't think you could make some real progress with it.
Well, I actually ran for state representative last year unsuccessfully, but I did so just to try and help our state get on a strong fiscal track again. As a business person, I look at some of the short-term Band-Aid type approaches to solving some of the problems we have in our state instead of really focusing on a long-term permanent solution. And I thought, I can help make a difference in this. And so when this opportunity came up, my husband, John, who he and I have really been partners in this whole thing, we looked at this opportunity and what was happening, and we said, wow, what better place to be able to step up and make a difference in our state than to be the chief fiscal officer. And we just felt like when Governor Rauner called and asked me to take the appointment, we just felt that we were going to have to try and make a difference. So we're working on this together, trying to be a lot of different places. But I'm really honored to have been chosen to try and help serve our state in this role.
Leslie Munger with us, Illinois State Comptroller, Trolley and Scott on WROK. The State of the State address from Governor Rauner just recently. Anything you heard him lay out during that speech that would directly help you get your job done?
Honestly, I think the most helpful thing is really just the fact that he took a comprehensive approach to getting our state and economy back on track. A lot of the policy changes he talked about are things that will help create a more predictable business environment so companies can plan and budget. And we have had a past history of managing crisis to crisis, of making very short-term decisions, taking on debt, borrowing in order to balance our budget. Adding in programs in an election year to help get reelected instead of, these are things we couldn't pay for. Now they're in our budget. So I heard Governor Rauner say we got to make some drastic changes. I'm sure there are going to be things that we don't all like. It's going to be tough for everyone. But at least we're starting an honest conversation of the problems that we have in our state, and there's going to be a lot of debate and as we sort things out. But I think we have to have the honest adult conversation because we have terrible budget problems, $7 billion in unpaid bills and growing.
Leslie Munger with us. Before we let you go, you are in favor of, as is, it seems, every person in the state outside of Mike Madigan, of the consolidation of the treasurer and comptroller offices, right?
I am. Yes, I am. I understand the reason why they were originally split. I believe that there are a lot of controls in place now that would keep that problem from happening again. I think we have to look for savings everywhere in our state. We have very expensive state government. And if we can save $12 million, that's the estimate for consolidating the two offices. And we get that savings by eliminating duplication of systems, of offices, of some people. $12 million is a lot of money. I've heard a lot of people in Springfield who were billions of dollars in debt, and that's just a drop in the bucket. Well, I think it's a big drop in the bucket. I think if we looked through our state for $12 million here and a few million there, we would have a lot of savings we would be turning up. So I think we have to take these kinds of opportunities to reduce the cost of our government. I'm strongly behind it.
She is State Comptroller. She's Leslie Munger. Leslie, thanks a lot for taking time for us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to talking to you again.